Welcome back to my channel. My name is Fumilayo Fatubero, and if you're new here on this channel, I talk about everything that has to do with travel. If you are a returning subscriber, I say thank you. I see all the love. I cannot believe this. I started this channel sometimes in August, and now I have almost 1,000 subscribers. It's overwhelming. It was just like a joke. I think I was really irritated then. I was like, why do agents charge so much with something that people can just do, on their own or by themselves? And people were like, you can start a new YouTube channel. And I'm like, okay, why don't we do this? And, I started this sometimes in August. I'm so excited and motivated with the outcome. So thank you guys for everyone that has watched, that has reacted to my video in one way or the other, either by comment or giving it a like or sharing it. I say thank you. And if you are yet to subscribe, what are you waiting for? Because I know that if you're not aspiring to travel, you know someone that is looking to travel. So please subscribe and share this. Today I'm going to be talking about something that is very important, and it's a cover letter. Now, what is a cover letter? Before I get into that, a cover letter is very important, like I said earlier, because a lot of embassies these days, we have very few embassies. From the top of my head, I would even say it's just the US embassy that is left that calls you in, or you have to go in for a physical interview. Most of the embassies, what you do is you send in your paperwork, which is your documents, your travel documents. So you don't get a chance to, respond to questions, which is why a cover letter is very important. Now, I'll tell you what a cover letter is. A cover letter is a letter that you had to your application, telling the visa officer more about you, more about what you do, where you work, about your situation, what you plan to do on your trip. It's just a letter that is attached to your application that throws more light. That's what a cover letter is basically. So for the Schengen area, a cover letter is a must. No matter how well traveled you are, you have to add a cover letter. For countries like the UK or Canada, it's not a must for me. I've been traveling since I can remember, and I don't add a cover letter to my appointment anymore. Only for the Schengen area that I said it's a must. It's part of the requirement. So even when you see the required documents, you see a cover letter there. But for the US, I don't have to explain myself. The US visa I'm using as we speak, that would expire in the next year, is a 10-year one that I've been using. So it's not something that you have to write a cover letter for if you're well traveled. But if you're somebody that you're just trying to build your travel history, you have not really traveled before, you have never been to maybe countries like the UK or Canada before, and you're trying to go for the first time, or you've had a refusal before, then you need a cover letter. It is a must. For the US Embassy, you do not need a cover letter because you're going to be attending a physical interview. So whatever that the visa officer doesn't understand or needs clarity on, he can ask you straight away. But for these other embassies, you're not there. They're relying on your document. So let's say, for instance, I'm looking at the document. I'm going to be looking down a lot because I have some things written down, point out so that I don't miss out on anything that makes sense or that is important. So you've submitted your document. The visa officer is looking at your document and is trying to make a decision on your application, and it just needs a little clarity on something, just a push to give you the visa approval. But it looks at it. So for instance, maybe your statement of account, you have you say you're a salary earner, and then you have monies coming into your bank account which is not your salary and it's not been explained. So it doesn't look like you're trying to package yourself, the way we say it in Nigeria. They say only package, It doesn't look like you're trying to package yourself and you're trying to pass yourself off as something that you're not. If they see maybe your salary is like ₦1 million, and then they see something, a lump sum of another million in between months, or they see like a 500,000, 2 million, and there's no description for it. Nothing in your application says that you have this kind of money coming in. Assuming you were there for a physical interview, the person can say, oh, I see, a deposit on this date. Can you explain it? But you are not there. The person is just looking at your document, which is why you need your cover letter to say. So I'm going to be looking down a lot. Now I have here, I said, cover letter is just a way of tying together your application. I said it earlier. I said your cover letter is a way of you, letting the visa officer know a little more about you. What you do, my name is Fumilayo Fatobero. If I was going to be writing a cover letter now, that is what I will start with. I will introduce myself saying my name is Fumilayo Fatobero. I'll say what I do for a living, or I'm a lawyer, I'm an hotelier, I do this, I do that, I say, then I mention my earnings just to be able to show, because a cover letter is very strong. Like I said, it's what you use to convince the immigration officer, the visa officer, most of the time, if you should get an approval or a denial. So yes, now like I said, there's no physical interview. So what I usually do when I'm writing a cover letter for myself, or when I'm helping anyone I know write a cover letter, is that I preempt the questions that might be asked by the visa officers. So in my head, I'm acting like I'm in front of a visa officer now, and I've tendered all of my documentation. So I just think about the questions that they might ask. If you have been to any embassy before for an interview, you know that they would ask you about yourself. There are some questions that, they're constant. You say your name, the purpose of your trip, why you've chosen that country, how long you intend to, be there for, what you're going to be doing when you get there, what you do for a living, your financial situation in your country. They want to know if you're financially grounded, especially this jackpot season. It won't make sense for you to say, oh, my earnings in a month, I earn like a 500,000. And in that month that I earn like a 500,000, I spend maybe like a 250, 300, meaning you have like a savings of 200. And then you want to go on a trip of maybe 5 to 10 days, and you're saying you're going to spend 10 million. My brother, my sister, let's talk. Now, you are going to buy your ticket. So let's say, what ticket is expensive now? The UK, the US or Canada. So the US now, it's almost summer. So you'll be getting tickets for like maybe 1.9, 2.4 in between, if you are being modest. And then if you want to use the most of the Western airlines, the European ones, more like it, you're looking at doing British Airways, you're looking at doing Virgin Atlantic, or maybe Delta or United. You are going to be paying a minimum of 2.5, 3 million for economy, don't get it wrong. So you're getting your ticket and you're spending like 3 million naira for a ticket. This is you that your monthly salary is like a 500,000 and you have a monthly savings of 200,000. Now let's do the maths. I'm not too good with maths, but help me here. If you save 200,000 naira monthly, meaning in a year, you'd save what? 2.4, because it's 12 months, right? And then you want to use 3 million for your ticket. So that means you're using like a 1.5 years salary, savings, to buy your ticket. That's not the only thing that you're going to do there. If you're someone like me that never says I know anybody anywhere, I just go with my hotel reservation, I stay in the hotel, I mind my business. I've had immigration officers ask me that, oh, don't you know anybody here? And I'm like, I actually do know. I have my brother that lives here, but I just like my space and I just book my hotel. That doesn't mean I would not go and visit them and spend time. And most of the time, they just give me a nod and they're like, we totally understand. But now, because of the exchange rates, when you're looking at hotels, a decent hotel will cost you maybe what? $80 to $120 per night. You're being modest, right? You're not staying, if you're staying in maybe the hostels, the people that stay in the dormitory, they get maybe like $60, $70 per night. But then if you're going to, I can't stay in a hostel, so I'm going to be looking at an average of $100 a night. $100 with today's exchange rate is almost 160,000. And now you have said that you're going for 10 days. That means you're looking at 1.6 million. Now, don't forget, you already have a ticket of 3 million. That means you have 4.6 million. Now, we're not talking about tours. You're not talking about transportation, feeding, and also I know for the Schengen areas, they always calculate that you have for tours and travel expense daily and feeding, they always calculate between 60 to 80 euro daily. So you can just imagine, and you're using 10 days. So that's like another 800. That's a lot of money. It means that maybe you're looking to spend like 5 years savings for 10 days. It doesn't add up. It's a red flag. And then some people make the mistake and think that if you have a large closing balance, it means that your visa will be approved. No. If you have a large closing balance, that's another red flag on its own. So whatever payment you have coming into your account, maybe it's more than your salary, or maybe it comes in between months, a cover letter will help you explain it. Now, in your cover letter, once you do the introduction, you say where you work, what you do, then you explain the documents that you have provided. So for example, I provided a bank statement. I say I am a salary earner. At my job, I get a 500,000 a month. In the form, they would have asked me what my monthly expenses. So I say my monthly expense is 300. Then they ask you again, all forms, all embassies, they always ask you that. Do you have another means of income apart from your regular one, a side hustle or something like that? And then your answer, the response you give also goes a long way to affect your application. So somebody like me, I say, yes, I do have another means of income. They will need me to say what that means of income is. If there's no space to write it in the form, because most of the form, like the UK now, when you're filling out the form, where they ask you to write additional information to support your application that can help it, you have only 150 characters. How many explanations do you want to do with 150 characters? So that's where the cover letter comes into play. So I can say, apart from a regular 9 to 5, I have a side also where I do this. So maybe I'm a lawyer now, and then I say, maybe on the side, I sell properties, or maybe I even have earnings from this YouTube channel. I can say, I have a YouTube channel with this number of subscribers, and I earn this amount. And this, you should be able to circle out, on your bank statement. So once you say, okay, maybe you received like 2 million on the 2nd of April, you should be able to say you had a deposit of 2 million 2nd of April, which was for payment for this. And I always tell people, it's nice to be able to back it up. So if I say I have a side also, I should be able to produce an invoice that I gave that party that made payment to be able to justify why that payment was made into my account. Don't just throw money into your account. People make a lot of mistakes and they just say, oh, my guy, or please, can you borrow me like 500K or 1 million? I just want to put it in my account for a few days, just for the money to reflect, so that you are shooting yourself in the leg. You do not do that. Make sure that everything that goes to your account, is well documented. And I always tell people, when you're using your salary account, leave it for salary alone. Just keep it that way. Use another statement for all of your additional earnings, so it doesn't look mumbled up and then it's difficult to explain. So yes, explain the documentation that you're providing. And I said your cover letter is an opportunity to clear doubt. A visa officer is looking for reasons to say that this person might not return to their home country after that. And if it looks like you went to stage everything, so for example now, you say that someone interviewed you. A lot of people make that mistake. I've seen it in a lot of cover letters. Even some people that they get a right to appeal, I've seen that mistake a lot of times. For instance, now you say you want to go to a country like Canada, and then maybe you have a friend there that has invited you. There's nothing wrong. Your friend can invite you. It doesn't have to be a family member. Your friend can invite you. So let's say I have a friend called Yewande, and her name is maybe Yewande King, and I say Yewande King invited me. She's written the letter of invite for me. She's given me a copy of our passport data page. She might have given me a bills or something, and then maybe I get a refusal, or maybe don't even talk about a refusal. Then I'm trying to apply, and then in my cover letter I put it that I also have a letter of invite from Mrs. Yewande King. That's too formal. That doesn't sound like your friend. If it's your friend, you wouldn't address your friend as such. So if I was going to be writing a cover letter and I have a Mrs. Yewande King that I'm saying is my friend inviting me, I would say I have a letter of invite from Yewande. Yewande is a friend that we went to high school together, and we've been in touch since then. And then I'll go on further to prove that Yewande and I are actually friends, and it's not somebody I randomly just met and said, oh, can you just write me a letter of invite? So I would probably print out maybe WhatsApp conversation between Yewande and I, and I'll make sure that it's not WhatsApp conversation that is in the last 3 months or 6 months. It's dated back years so that it can understand that we have an established relationship. So if you're going to be writing a cover letter, be it any of your sibling, be it a friend, anybody inviting you, it means that you have a cordial or a close relationship with that person, for the person to say, I'm inviting this person to come and stay in my home. So when you're addressing that person, don't be formal, you address them by first name basis, so it shows that this is actually a friendship. And then if you have maybe pictures you've taken with the person when the person visited Nigeria, or maybe you have visited the person before, you can add pictures that, I have also attached pictures that I took with Yewande the last time she was in Nigeria, which was Christmas 2022, all of that. Or Yewande and I met for a girls trip in South Africa. This is the picture. It just shows that your relationship dates back. Just like if you're a student and maybe you're in school and you're looking to travel, they might fear that you might not want to return. I always tell people, if you're a student, try to print your transcript from school to show that, okay, I attend this school and I am in maybe 300 level, and this is my first semester result, second semester result. So there's no doubt, especially when you are on top of your game and your GPA is quite high, there's no doubt that says that maybe you might even want to run away, because they will think about it themselves. This is somebody that you have your whole life ahead of you. You have things going for you. You're in a good school. You have good grades. Why would you want to go and throw it away and become an illegal immigrant in a country where you'll be struggling? If you finish with good grades, you probably have scholarship to any school of your choice when you're ready to finish and go for your master's. So why would you want to do that? So make sure you do that. So as a student, make sure you do that. Also, what I try to say is that in your cover letter, make sure you include your address, the address of the embassy that you're addressing it to, and then your name, what you do, your earnings. Okay, my name is Fumilayo Fatobero. I work. Another mistake people make is when you're talking about your earnings, they talk about it in a monthly salary. A visa officer, because they have a proper job, and if you're in a structured environment, you will know that when you're talking your remuneration, you talk about it per annum. So when you're talking about salary, I won't say, my name is Fumilayo Fatobero. I work with Crimson Tide and Co. And my salary is $1 million. So that they don't make a mistake and think that that is what you're earning annually. If you are going to be sticking to the monthly, make sure that you say that per month, after taxes or after all the deductions, the deductibles from your job and everything like that. You don't leave anything hanging, because if you just say 1 million, they don't know if it's before tax, before your deductibles. Because if you earn 1 million, by the time they take out your deductibles, your income, allowance, your wardrobe, for your transportation, for your accommodation, you might be having like a 700 and something. You see that it doesn't add up. And then you've already said in your cover letter that you earn 1 million, and then your bank statement, you have like 700 and something coming in. So make sure you explain all of this. If it's going to be too confusing, just leave the 1 million and just say I earn a 745 whatever after all taxes and deductibles. It makes it easier. Whatever it is, make sure you explain it. If you're somebody that says, okay, you have a landed property, don't just put the paperwork there. Even if you have children, you're married, don't just add the marriage certificate and think that the visa officer understands. Now, you don't know when the visa officer is going to be dealing with your documentation or your file. It might be when he or she is in a bad mood. It might be something just triggered. Make sure you explain. You can just imagine someone that is irritated already, and then they just pick your application and you just say, oh, I'm married to my, I saw someone that wrote a cover letter one time, and the person said, I'm married to my darling wife whom I love so much. The person doesn't need to hear that. So I said, you know what, take out the darling and take out the love, the profession of love. Just go and profess that to your wife. The visa officer doesn't need to know that. What you need to do is, I'm happily married with 2 children. Attach your marriage and saying, find attached a copy of my marriage certificate and birth certificates of my children. That shows that you have ties to your home country, because you're trying to do all of that with your cover letter. Then if you are self-employed, make sure you attach your incorporation documents. Don't just say, oh, you work and I run my business. No, make sure you attach your incorporation documents. You said you're self-employed, so you show that attached is the incorporation document of my business. Another thing that you should do is that check the CSC website and check the status of your company. A lot of companies have their status as inactive, and it gets a lot of applicants into trouble because it doesn't show that your business is trading or is making money if it's inactive. And the reason why it's inactive is that you have not filed your annual returns with the Corporate Affairs Commission. So make sure that if you are going to be going as a self-employed person, make sure that your CAC documentations are up to date. You filed all your annual returns so that the status of your business is showing as active. It means that you're trading. But that's not the only thing. You need the bank statement of your corporate account too, which shows that your business is actually making money and it's just not a show. Now, as somebody that is running business, for example, you might say you're selling wigs and they understand that maybe one wig is like ₦1 million. And then in your bank account, you have a lump sum deposit or transfer of 12 million, 10 million. Don't just think that the visa officer would understand that you've sold 10 wigs. Make sure you explain in your cover letter, on the 28th of October, I had a deposit or a transfer of 10 million from a client that bought wigs in wholesale or bought 10 wigs, and you present as well an invoice. Attached is the invoice issued to the customer for this transaction, just to make it look real and it doesn't look like you just put documents together and try to package. Just show the source of funds. Basically, don't just think that money is coming into your account and that is enough. No, that doesn't always work. That's why your cover letter is there. And the good thing about cover letter is it doesn't say that it has to be this number of characters or this number of pages. No, you can write as much as you want. A cover letter always also helps for somebody that has been refused before. Maybe you've gotten a refusal and you just keep quiet and you're mute about it in your next application. That is wrong. I'm not saying that you should tell the story of your life to every embassy that you visit, but what I'm saying is that if you have applied in maybe the French embassy and you get a refusal, and then months later, yet again, you find yourself applying to go to France, make sure you mention the application that you were refused on and in your cover letter, because in the form they would ask you anyway, have you ever been, have you ever applied to this embassy? Have you ever been refused a visa? You would have responded yes, no. But in your cover letter, don't be silent on it. Make sure you address it. So if you are someone that has had a refusal, I would say your cover letter should go like this. I'll just read something I wrote out for you. You can say that, in your last application, you got a refusal. And in this present application, you hope to be able to address the issue why your application was refused. I have a number of people that have said to me, or they've shown me their refusal letter where it says that they don't have enough funds in their bank account, and they're confused because they have millions of naira sitting in the bank account. Now, it's not like the immigration or the visa officer cannot see your balance, but they do not believe that you have access to that fund. So if you say that you are an entrepreneur and you run your own business, you need to be able to show the source of the funds. Because if you have money that's just coming into the account, it doesn't add up. Or you're a salary earner, you say you earn 1 million, and then you have 2 million today, 1 million today, in between months, and it looks like you're just trying to build the account in order to deceive them to give you that visa, to make it look like you're financially buoyant when you're not. That leads to refusal for some people. So I always say that make sure you address it. So maybe you're a salary earner now, and in between months you have money. It might be your 13th month salary. Make sure you write the date, maybe December 20th. It has the 13th month salary. Make sure you stated that an inflow of whatever was in my account as my 13th month salary from my organization. You can now show your pay slip. Attach a copy of my pay slip for December showing, that you actually did get. Or maybe somebody like me, I would say, okay, I'm a director, I'm on the board, I might get a sitting allowance and it goes into my account. I should be able to explain it, and, or maybe the description, it should be able to show that. Don't just think that you're putting money in the account and, that's what they want to see. No, it's not your closing balance. Your balance is far from it. Yeah, your balance helps, but it's far from it. You have a lot of people that they have 100 million, 200 sitting in their bank account and they still get a refusal. Then when you have a huge sum, transferred out of your account, don't let it look like monies that you used to build the account you're returning back to the owners. Make sure that you explain what this fund is for, why you're taking such a huge amount out of your bank account. Make sure you explain all of that too when you're doing your application. One thing again, I would say you address when you are trying to do your cover letter is your itinerary. So you just don't say that you are going here, and it's easier now. There's something called Chat GPT. It makes your life easier. You can just go there. Okay, so for someone like me, I'm aspiring to go to the United Kingdom and I want to visit Manchester. I can just say, you just go on Chat GPT and just say, I'm a tourist looking to go to Manchester for 10 days. What are the interesting tourist attraction I can find there? It helps you to be able to build your itinerary. What I do for myself is, especially, like I said, is only my Schengen area that I still write cover letter for. So I say day 1, arrival into what? Where am I going to? Ibiza in Spain. I arrive at Ibiza. And then I say day 2, I rest. I write it like that. Then day 3, I say I'm going to tour this place and that place. And I put my tour tickets or the reservations that I've made and all of that. And then I say, oh, day 4 or day 5, I'm going to Barcelona, and maybe I'm going by train from Ibiza. I'm going to attach that train ticket that I've pre-booked. I don't necessarily have to have paid for it. I just add it to it. And then the hotel I'm going to be staying at as well, I make sure that it all adds up. I put everything in my cover letter. Day 5, arrive at Barcelona, and I'm checking into this hotel. I mentioned the name of the hotel, and then I put the reservation for that hotel. And day 6, I do this tour, I put it there. Day 7, day 8, I return to Ibiza, I put it there. My train ticket, my bus ticket, my flight, anything at all that I'm going to be using. Maybe day 10, I rest. Day 11, I return back to Nigeria. I literally list it one by one like that. And the thing about it is that for cover letter, there's nothing like too much information. And I always say for people applying to, it's better you have too many documents than not have enough. So your cover letter is like you've been given an open white spreadsheet to be able to explain yourself, to erase all the doubts, and Make sure I always say I'm a law-abiding citizen in my country, Nigeria, and law-abiding in all of the countries that I've traveled to for tourism. I always return back to my home country before the expiration of my visa. I write all of it there, and like I said, there's nothing like too much information. So that's how you write a cover letter that would ace you and get you your visa approval. If you are one that you want to see a sample of my cover letter or what it can look like, just write cover letter in the comment section and leave your email address as well, and I will email one to you. Anyway, that will be all from me, and that's all I have to tell you about cover letter. So don't forget, a cover letter is what ties together all of your application when the visa officer is looking at it, especially when you don't get to stand in front of them and explain so many situations. That will be all from me today. Thank you for watching. Till next time, take care. Bye bye.